Andy Johnson. We're looking at multi-level self-selected approach to spelling instruction called Word Class, based on the idea that weekly spelling tests do very little to help develop students' spelling proficiency, the ability to write, to spell under real-life writing conditions. There are costs to the traditional spelling test. It creates failures. It wastes precious instructional time that could be spent teaching students how to write, having students actually do authentic writing activities. The consumable spelling books are very expensive, and there is limited, if any, research to support the efficacy of the weekly spelling test. Spelling proficiency is related to visual memory capacity, the ability to encode, store, and retrieve letter patterns. What about spelling rules, you say? The rules for spelling are not reliable enough to be used on a consistent basis. There is a better way called Word Class, which is a self-selected approach to spelling instruction. It meets the needs of high and low ability spellers within a general ed inclusive classroom or a special ed resource room. Self-selected means there's choice. Choice is a powerful motivator for students, whether it's a choice of books to read, writing topics, or in this case, words to study each week. There are two types of choice that we use in Word Class. Students select their own words to study. This could be within a topic or category, for a science topic, social studies, health, maybe a current event, or students choose their own words related to their lives or their experience. With this choice, each student has a personalized spelling list. Here's how it works. In large group, you generate a list of words based on a topic, story, or event. Let's say you're studying space. Boys and girls, what are some space words that we may want to look at this week? And as they brainstorm, the teacher writes them on the board. The idea or the advantage of having words based on something you're studying, they're found in context. They're not a list of words in isolation that have no connection or meaning. From this generated brainstormed list, each student selects 8 to 15 words they wish to study. And yes, you can have mandatory words, 1 or 2, maybe even 5 mandatory words. And you may have different mandatory words for different students. This is how you differentiate the curriculum. Always have students check the spelling of the words before recording them. You are teaching them how to use a spell check or dictionary. Students then record their word list in a word book or spelling journal. Now, weekly spelling lists can also be generated in small groups or pairs. Here they generate a list of words that they think are interesting or that they have encountered. This makes them more word aware and invites them to listen for interesting words. Each student chooses 10 words, and these words are found within the context of their lives and their experience. You can use a large sheet of butcher paper put up on the wall where students write down words they would like to study. If you're studying water resources, they list during the week, they simply write words down and they can choose, or their life, or maybe you are studying the Harry Potter book altogether. They can write down or record interesting words here. Multi-level. But what if students just pick easy words, you say? Well, then they'd be successful. We certainly wouldn't want that, would we? But it's found that students generally choose longer and more complex words than those words chosen by teachers. As far as your high ability spellers, you want to avoid MOTS, more of the same, simply giving them more words to spell and memorize each week. Allow them to choose more complex words rather than simply more words. You use a word book, not a workbook. This eliminates the need for expensive consumable spelling workbooks. You simply have a notebook for each child. And I always kept my notebooks, everyone, on a shelf someplace so they're not lost or used for homework. These are used for word activities during the week. And as a teacher, you want to create the activities that gets students writing, using their words as much as possible. And I'll share some of these activities in another video. It enables you to review periodically for direct assessment. Have writing activities. I can look at 3 or 5 workbooks every day and get a direct assessment or a direct sense of students' ability to write under real-life game conditions. The weekly spelling test, you can still keep it. Each student has an individual spelling list. On Friday, you trade with a partner, and your partner gives you the spelling test. So during one session, you may have 15 or more spelling tests going on at the same time. Students then check their progress, and they record on a line graph their results for that week. A direct spelling assessment. How do you assess? Like real life, you should look at students' edited writing. You can create a words per 100 score where you average the words spelled correctly per 100. This is a more authentic and direct assessment of spelling, and it's how we are assessed in real life. And again, a direct spelling assessment, look at a piece of their writing and count the average number of words spelled correctly out of 100 words per 100 score. Used with both edited and unedited writing.